So this is Aoni here. So I wanted to make a different type of video this time around. What I wanted to do was I actually wanted to make a tutorial guide for SCP computer or SCP-079. Now, the reason why I wanted to, I guess, make this video is because I've noticed that a lot of people actually still to this day don't really know how to play SCP-079. And even in the rare situations that they kind of do, they're still missing a lot of information that I think would help make the game a lot easier if they did. Just small things here and there. Also, personally, I both love and hate playing SCP-079. He's definitely probably my first or second favorite SCP to play out of every other SCP. But I will say that he is in a completely frustrating experience because he is a very team dependent SCP. But with that being said, even if you do have a somewhat shitty team, when you're SCP, you can still actually do a lot of work. And honestly, it's not too difficult to get him leveled up, which is a mechanic of his that I'll get into later on in the video if you do know what you're doing. So I just wanted to go ahead and start with a sort of little introduction, and then we'll move on and we'll talk about what are some of the things you can do as SCP-079 to improve. So before I actually delve into, I guess, playing SCP-079, I kind of want to compare him to the other SCPs, and what really differentiates from him, what kind of mindset you should have when you're playing him, and I kind of want to, I guess, explain why I think you should give SCP-079 a chance if you do get him. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty common for a lot of players to be overwhelmed by SCP-079. Obviously, he's not your standard just run around and click and kill character, but he has a lot more depth, and honestly, he's one of the most interesting SCPs they've ever released. Honestly, in my opinion, the most interesting SCP they've released. He's a great example of like game design that's not completely overbearing. Um, and is if you understand him and you master him, you can just look like an absolute god. But if you don't put the time in, you look like complete trash. So we'll go ahead and we'll compare him to some of the other SCPs and how they differ, and why I think that there are areas that he excels in that they don't. So the first SCP that I want to talk about is probably the other SCP that I assume pretty much everybody wants to play nowadays, Shy Guy, aka SCP-096. Now, this character is really popular for the sole purpose of when he pops off, he fucking pops off. If you get a 914 and 096 and everybody looks at him when he walks in, it's going to be a complete wipe. In fact, I've single-handedly seen 096s win games with just them and one other SCP. 096 is an absolute powerhouse. However, I do think there is sort of a weakness of 096. Now, it's pretty common for people to say SCP-096 is overpowered. He's been nerfed multiple times since his rework, but I think one of the issues with 096 in comparison to computer is that 096 is like the inverse of 079 or computer. SCP-079 is pretty shitty when you're playing with and against shitty players, um, and SCP-096 is great. Reverse that, if you're playing against players like veterans of this game who know what they're doing, computer is great, and 096 is complete garbage because veteran players know how to deal with 096. 096 is basically this game's equivalent of like a low elo pub stomper. He's a champion in a way that everyone thinks is overpowered, but I'm telling you right now, if there was somehow a ranked system in this game, although I don't think that's possible, he would be great in low elo and terrible in high elo. And there's a couple reasons why. The first overwhelming reason why people hate 079 and love 096 is that 096 as an SCP is completely self-sufficient. He can pretty much do everything on his own. 079 is team dependent. You need people to communicate with you. And let's be real here. You're playing SCP Secret Laboratory. You're not getting any communication outside of people ear raping you. But If you're like me and you're lucky and you get on some servers with a great community and people who aren't just, spazzing the fuck out every 5 seconds trying to like blast stale memes in your ear while you're waiting in the lobby for the match to start, 079 is an absolute blast to play. 096's biggest weakness in comparison to 079 is that a squad of MTF can pretty much wipe him out really easily if they just hold their nerve. 079 requires a lot of coordination to kill, but even that coordination isn't enough to necessarily put him down because you have to account for outside factors like what SCPs are roaming around heavy when you're trying to go for either the nuke or his generators. 096 a lot of 096s will try to ambush MTF in entrance zone or near the elevator. Realistically, good MTF, and I've seen it, it's rare, but I've seen it, will generally do the trick where you send one MTF down, they look at them, they sacrifice themselves, everybody else looks up, basically just waits for 096 to time out, and as soon as 096 is done raging, they just spray him and it's over. Because 096 is really squishy once his AHP goes away from his rage. The only issue is obviously one, that requires a lot of teamwork and coordination, which as we all know doesn't exist on these servers. And two, people just, let's be real here. Like so many SCP players are absolute fucking cowards. Absolute cowards. These people are weak, their bloodline is weak, their family is weak, and they will not survive the winter. I'm telling you right now, they so much as like hear 096 like cry, and they'll just somehow teleport from from like light containment all the way back to surface. Like they are just gone. They might as well be 106 because they're just teleporting, and it's so frustrating when you see people run away from 096 after he's done raging. That's your only window of attack. I do not know why people do that. It's annoying, but that is what makes 096 so overpowered. He just has that psychological advantage. Let's be real here. 079, on the other hand, people do not go for 079. Most people do not actively try to kill 079 when he is in the game because they're bad and they don't realize how much of a threat he is. There are so many games where I see cadets run past the generators and not even bother turning it on. Not only that, but because people like to free up their inventory during the match, a lot of them will do this annoying thing where they'll drop their tablet on the surface. If you know there's a computer with you, take your damn tablet with you. I don't care if you want to drop your disarmor because you're not planning on, capturing any D-boys, shoot on sight, fine, whatever. Like we all say, they're just resources. But take your damn tablet with you. You'd be surprised how many times MTF get to a generator and then someone's like, hey, maybe we should turn this on. Bro, did you bring your tablet? I dropped mine. Yeah, nah, me neither, bro. Oh, well. So that's one advantage that 079 has over 096 is like people aren't even really thinking about killing 079. The general standard for killing 079 is killing every other SCP first, which is incredibly clumsy and is not going to fly if you actually play against players. But again, servers are randomized, so you don't generally have to worry about good players. I will say though, 096 is also probably just more fun for people to play because again, 079 requires a lot of thinking and planning, and 096 you just, stand there drooling on yourself, just me 096, me cry, me kill. Someone looks at you, sweet, I'm popping off. This is the one. This is my pentakill. So again, I can understand why 096 prioritize people over 079. But 079 is definitely stronger in situations where you're playing against good players. But that's pretty rare. Let's be real here. Next up, SCP-939. Now, let's be all completely honest. Dog, as one of the SCPs, is pretty shit. For one, they're blind. I mean, literally, the counter to them is just don't walk, which is insane to me. Like, realistically speaking, I I know that they're blind in canon, but it's one of the most overwhelming nerfs. I mean, it's one of the most overwhelming weaknesses that I've ever seen in an SCP. Um, and that is like half the reason people hate playing dog. Yes, it can be funny to run around as dog and spam your mic with some like, stupid music or meme or whatever and chasing people down and killing them. But if we're looking at it from the perspective of trying to win the game, dogs are pretty useless. In fact, if we're being completely honest, and this might be a bit of a hyperbole, but I would rather have two dogs on my team. I mean, I would rather have two dogs not on my team and have an 096. I generally think 096 is worth more than two dogs. The reason being is because one, even after the stamina update, dogs get juked so easily. Two, dogs are pretty much bullet sponges. They have one of the largest models in the game, if not the largest. Obviously, 096 is still pretty tall, but the reason is that when you're shooting 096, either you're shooting him when he's, deraged, which means he's a free target, so it doesn't really matter that he's got a large frame, or you're shooting him while he's raging, and that's a pretty hard target to hit because he moves very quickly. Another big weakness of Dog is that his special trick slash ability is pretty much completely useless. I cannot remember the last time I've ever seen anyone fall for Dog like talking, trying to convince him to open the door. Like no one ever goes to 914, gets inside, hears someone outside saying, "Hey, bro, it's me. I'm trapped outside. Let me in," and then opens it. That doesn't happen anymore because people are assholes, and even if it really was a scientist or D-boy, you're not gonna let him in anyways. Fuck them. And plus, if it was a scientist, they could just open it. So that's another issue. I would say they're not completely bad, but there are a lot of weaknesses. 079, ironically, is probably one of the most advised accompanying SCPs for a 939. If you do have a 939 in your game, you're really going to want to have a computer, completely honest. Like if I have to play Dog, I hope there's a computer because computer can alleviate some of the issues that 939 has as an SCP, since they'll most likely be forced to just run around like a headless chicken, and having computer being able to lock doors and just they do level up quickly, and that's another thing. A 939 is great for assisting the computer to level up faster. Um, Another issue that I have with 939, I'm really ragging on the poor guy here. I'm sorry. To all you 939 fans out there, all you Dog fans, I do apologize, but you have trash taste. This SCP sucks ass. Another issue that SCP-939 has is that he has such a large model, or she, we don't know what they are. He has such a large model that they're basically always sticking out of doors. Like the amount of times I've seen dogs try to like hide behind a door to rush out and attack someone, and no one goes near the door because they can clearly see his nose sticking through it. It's way too common, especially at 914. Do not go up against the door at 914. If you are a dog, they can see your face. You stick through. You'll clip through, and it's very obnoxious. And because of that, that also makes them pretty bad ambush SCPs because people see them again hiding behind doors or walls because they're just such a large and clunky model. Also, their model's pretty ugly. Let's be real here. Um, the only real advantage, or I guess like compliment I give 939 is the fact that they are one still pretty decently fast, and thanks to the stamina system, they can kind of catch up to people unless they keep closing doors on you, which they probably will. And two, because of their spawn location being heavy, they can either A, rush the guards and clear them all out, or B, look for an elevator really quickly. They'll generally be the first ones to get there because 939s obviously have the fastest walking speed out of the SCPs for the most part. But other than that, I can't really say anything great about SCP-939. 079 is just kind of superior in every way. Next up, 106. You as 079, you are 106's best friend. There's only one other SCP that I can realistically think of that loves you more than him, and that would be Pina. There's a couple reasons why 106 loves Computer. First things first, Computer can constantly check Larry's containment chamber for him, so Larry can freely move his teleporter around. One of the annoying parts about Larry is that when you send 10 people to the realm, honestly, rule of thumb for anyone who's playing Larry, if you teleport 3 or 4 people, you should definitely go back to your chamber and check on your containment because all it takes is just 2 of them to escape and one of them has at least a containment chamber access card and you're dead. And it's obviously annoying to keep teleporting back to your chamber, but if an 079 has helped Larry level up fast enough, then they'll be able to just go check on it really quickly and then teleport back. Obviously, it uses a lot of auxiliary power, but if you've leveled up quickly as 079, which you should be if you're helping Larry, it's really no bother for you to check Larry's containment chamber. Obviously, the other big advantage that 106 has is that he walks through doors. So once you lock a door, you can pretty much just trap people in a room, let Larry in, and he'll just go wild. You don't have to worry about opening a door and someone slipping out in the meanwhile. People I notice as Larry don't really utilize his teleport as much. They kind of play him as almost like a poor man's 096. 079 again, a great accompaniment to 106, but my advice would be if you have a 106, you should probably rush to 914 and get Larry to go straight to 914. The main reason being is because he can walk through doors. You can quickly get a lot of XCP by having him walk into 914 and just locking the door. Because what often happens is with the other SCP, as soon as you open the gate, if it's like a Larry, I mean, if it's a shy guy or a dog or a doctor, everyone's just gonna run out and run away, and you're gonna have to look for them. Whereas with Larry, you lock that gate in there, he can just go to town on them, and you don't have to worry about anybody running past him at the door because you've locked the gate. You'll get a ton of XP. Granted, you only get half XP for people who die in Larry's dimension, but it's still a lot better than losing a bunch of D-boys who immediately bail at the first sign of trouble. So that's my advice for if you have a 106. Like I said, a lot of players aren't particularly great as Larry. They don't really utilize their teleporters very well. A pretty easy and simple trick that you can use as Larry if you want is to just go to either Gate B or Gate A, whichever one MTF's most likely to come through. Obviously, it's generally Gate B. Pop your portal near the elevator, wait for MTF to try and walk into heavy, and then just teleport behind them. Nothing personal, kid, and then start going to town on them. They really don't expect ambushes from Larry, and that's probably the biggest issue with Larry is people don't ambush as 106. With 079 though, again, usually the play just go straight to 914, level up really quickly with 106, and keep an eye on his chamber for him. Last but not least, SCP-079 with Doctor. Um, to be honest, not my favorite combo. Uh, the thing about Doctor is that, like the other SCPs, he's pretty self-sufficient. And honestly, there's going to be obviously more than other SCPs than Doctor. I think Doctor is the SCP that you can reliably generally leave to himself, as he's not a particularly complicated SCP, and he can usually be accompanied by zombies who can assist him, so you really don't need to be babysitting him too much. The only real concern would just be the fact that he is pretty easy to take down. Even the guards can actually do a number on him. And if he starts crying for help because he's getting his ass whooped, you do have to kind of come running. Obviously, 096 and 106 can usually take care of themselves, and even Dog at least has a decent amount of HP to protect himself. But if the guards actually unite and focus on Doctor, I've seen games where 3 or 4 guards that picked up ammo along the way, entrance zone, killed the Doctor because he was too careless. So Doctor, while I did say he's somewhat self-sufficient, that's assuming he's playing it safely, carefully, and he knows what he's doing. If he's just running around chasing people down and they're just shooting him as they're backstrafing, he's gonna die real quick. But I would recommend leaving him alone. Also, in comparison to 079, Doctor is vastly more popular because, again, he's very easy, and unlike Dog, he has a lot less weaknesses. I mean, his weakness is if you shoot him, he dies. That's every SCP's weakness, but he's probably the most susceptible to that just because, again, he doesn't have any HP or shields and no health regen, and he doesn't have a reliable way of escaping if things get too much. Like, Larry can just teleport out, and 096, if he gets the sense that he's going to get overwhelmed and his rage is coming to an end, will usually just bolt the other direction and run to safety. Dogs, they kind of just sit there and die, but Doctor is the absolute worst there. He will just get shredded. So that's one of their weaknesses over 079 is that he's kind of easy to contain in comparison to pretty much every other SCP. It doesn't have a lot going for him, and if he hasn't managed to get a zombie, he's really going to suffer. And that's probably his biggest weakness. Is ironically what I would consider metagaming. Most people, let's be real here, when they get killed by 049, they either rage quit and rejoin, or they just kill themselves as zombies. They're not going to play zombie. I've seen a doctor kill like 10 people, and I think he only managed to get like 1 zombie out of it. People will not really assist you as a doctor. If you play on a good server like me, where the people are somewhat nice to each other and kind of know each other, they won't normally bitch out and like quit the game. But again, uh, if you're playing on random servers or public ones where people don't know each other, the Doctor is probably not going to get as many zombies as you would like. I did say last and not least, but I was wrong. I forgot one, and probably ironically the one that 079 can help the most at the beginning of the game is Peanut. Peanut. What can be said about Peanut? He has probably the most mixed community. I feel like most people who say they want to play Peanut over other SCPs are just memeing. I would say though, this is one of the ones where even more shittier players would agree that 079 would be more useful to have than Peanut. And I also find most people don't like playing Peanut because one of Peanut's greatest weakness is his tendency to just get shredded by pretty much anyone who looks at him. I mean, his weakness is if you look at him, he can't move. Obviously, yes, he moves faster when he's, got lower health, but that's his special ability is the more I die, the faster I get. Obviously, you'd rather not be dying as Peanut. There is a sweet spot where you're fast enough to kill people, but not so low in health that you're like a breeze of wind away from dying. Most people already are aware of the combination of 079 and Peanut. 079, once he's a high enough tier, can use his ability to turn off all the lights in a room, and then Peanut, because obviously nobody can see him, will just zoom around and kill everybody because he will not be frozen. Unless somebody was smart enough to bring a flashlight, or put a flashlight attachment on their gun. But let's be completely honest, literally nobody does that. I've probably seen one game where someone actually had a flashlight on them, and it actually helped stop Peanut from killing everybody in a room. But the norm is as soon as those lights go out, so do you. So there's that. Another point with 079 is because Peanut spawns in light containment, he's the first one there down there with the D-boys and scientists. Some people do recommend, if you have a Peanut on your team, to immediately teleport down there and help Peanut start killing people, like right off the bat, because you can rack up a bunch of early kills. Me personally, I think that's contextual. Take a look at what SCPs you actually have on your team. If you got a Larry, definitely just escort the Larry to 914. Don't worry about the Peanut. Just let him do his thing. If you've got dogs and they're close enough to the elevators, yeah. But again, other than that, I really wouldn't prioritize this Peanut too much over the other SCPs. Usually it's easy to just leave him to do his own thing. He won't have enough low health to really catch people, and even if you lock doors on scientists and D-boys in like containment while Peanut's trying to get them, I'm gonna be completely honest. More often than not, he still can't manage to catch them. And also, it's a waste of power because at that point you'll only be tier one, and you probably won't get many kills. Um, but yeah, I don't think too many people are fond of playing Peanut. He struggles a lot, and there's rumor that there's a rework in the fix in the future just to try and make it more playable. But overall, that's my opinion on how 079 stacks up against the other SCPs. If I had to list them in terms of what I would want to play, I would probably put 096, then 079, then 106, then 049, and then 173. So I'd go Shy Guy, Computer, Larry, Doctor, Peanut, Dog. Dog is shit. Fuck Dog. Dog's fucking useless. So that's my tier list of what I would want to play and what I think is most useful. But now that I've kind of given a rundown of comparisons and what I think of the SCPs, I think we're safe to move on to the next part. Okay, so computer's strengths. I mean, it's pretty obvious what some of his strengths are, but I'll just go through it. The first and biggest strength is that you make it so that the other SCPs do not have to run around and tear their hair out trying to catch other humans. You can lock doors, which is pretty much what you'll be doing for the majority of the game. You are incredibly useful in that regard. Yes, you can Tesla to kill people, but let's be real here. That doesn't happen enough to really be a viable strategy unless Tesla spawns right next to the entrance gate, which is always an absolute laugh when it does because there's just like 50 bodies piled up on the Tesla. But that's RNG and probably not going to happen in most of your games as computer. So you're going to be stuck trying to help the other SCPs kill humans. Next one, and probably one of the other ones, you can open doors. A lot of SCPs get trapped. With the inclusion of 079, I've rarely seen any SCP die to getting trapped in 914. It used to happen all the time, like legitimately, you'd run in as Peanut, kill a couple people, and then everyone would just be like, fuck this Peanut, and they would lock the door. And because obviously everyone in spectator lobby can see what's happening, everyone would be like, oh, Peanut's trapped in 914, nobody go down there and open it. And you would just be stuck there for 10 minutes as Peanut until you're deaf. And the only person who would let them out was either somebody who was just trolling just to fuck with Peanut, or somebody who genuinely didn't know. And both were pretty rare. So that's one of your advantages. You can actually get rid of one of the old weaknesses of SCPs, which was getting trapped. Next thing is your map. You have a map. Please, please, please use your damn map. It's literally just tab, and with that, you can tell your teammates where to go. I know, shocking. The advantage of that is you can pretty much direct every SCP to where they need to go right at the start of the match. If they all need to go to, say, they all need to go and hit up elevator A, and they're all near it, you just give them the signal, you tell them the directions, and all of a sudden you're like level 4 because you locked the door on a bunch of D-boys as soon as it got to the bottom of the elevator, and they killed a bunch of people. And that's another thing, you can easily cut off means of escape. Obviously, if your SCPs make a little bit of a fumble, somebody's making a run for the elevator, you can just send that elevator up, and at that stage they are already dead. And the next part is you don't die until every other SCP is dead or they activate your generators. This is a great advantage in the sense you're not traditionally, killable in the regular way. People actually have to work together, and most people don't have that sense of unity, so they're probably just going to try and kill every other SCP before they try to kill you, which will give you plenty of time to level up. Now, here's what I want to say. The biggest and most important strength, in my opinion, of SCP-079, and this might be a bit controversial because I know some people don't care about it. SCP-079 can press tab, and in the left corner of their screen, it will tell you how many of each class are left. So if there's 4 D-boys left, you can see it plain as day. There are 4 D-boys left. If there's 2 scientists, it will tell you that. If a bunch of MTF just spawned in, you can see how many spawned in. If it's a chaos spawn, you'll know how many chaos spawned in. It seems like such a simple piece of information, like, oh, cool, alright, we gotta kill 9 D-boys and 2 guards. But that is honestly incredibly valuable information if you're actually legitimately going for a win. The reason being is because when you know what the SCPs need to kill, it makes it easier for you to direct them. And that is the other grand weak strength of SCP-079. You can basically rally your team together because otherwise, without you, they're just going to wander around mindlessly and not accomplish anything. As 079, you kind of become the de facto leader of the SCPs, which I love. You're basically the boss, and everyone has to listen to you because you have all the information. And the reason why having that information in the top left that tells you what classes is so important because it lets you know how much of like each SCP you should devote to. If you're really trying to go for a win, you pretty much need to kill all D-boys because even 1 or 2 D-boys escaping pretty much just defaults it to a D-boy win. So if you know that there's like 1 D-boy left all the way down in like containment, and you know that it's a chaos insurgency spawn, rounds end when there are no scientists, D-boys, or MTF left alive. It doesn't matter if there's chaos still alive. So you know your team, like, hey, don't bother dealing with this chaos if they start shooting you. Everyone just come back to heavy. Let's try and find this 1 D-boy that's hiding. Oh, cool, he was hiding at the bottom of Dog's chamber. Get him. They kill him. Boom, the round's over. You didn't waste your time, and you got a free, easy win. That's one of the advantages that you have as Dog. Another thing, maybe your SCPs don't know what they're doing. You quickly check it. Cool, we got every D-boy and scientist. It's just MTF. We don't need to be in light containment zone or heavy. We can just go ambush them at gate B and then ambush them on surface. Again, another easy win. So that is arguably the greatest strength, in my opinion, is that 079 has information, and that is why I constantly refer to him as sort of a high elo, although again there's no elo, SCP, because information is pretty useless on a lot of the players because they're just fucking idiots. They don't know what they're doing. Now, here are some of the weaknesses of 079. Number one, he's really fucking hard to play, and the camera and the controls take a long time. I'm not going to go over the controls in here because I'm already rambling on, but I would highly recommend going to the wiki and looking up his controls. It has a much better description, but also more importantly, the I guess brief information you get in game when you press F1 doesn't really tell you too much on how to play him. It just gives you a basic rundown, and even then, most people are going to struggle. His next weakness, besides being pretty difficult to play, is that he can only use Teslas to kill humans, which, again, is not particularly useful outside of really specific situations. And honestly, most people check the cameras now before they jump across Teslas anyways, because they don't want to die to a Tesla gate, so it's really rare. Uh, Next one, you automatically die if all the other SCPs are dead. Pretty obvious one. At least with other SCPs, you can fight to the last man, to the bitter end, and the hope that a chaos will spawn by like hiding in 049's chamber or hiding in nuke room. Once everyone dies SCP and you're just a computer, it's over. The game's GG. Maybe a chaos will spawn in the last minute before you get recontained, but that's again RNG. Next one, your generators. This one is pretty RNG in my opinion as a weakness, but there are some games where like literally two of the generators will be like right at the entrance zone, and then you'll get a T section and another two will be there, and then literally right across the T section in the next room your generator will be there. There's nothing worse than when all five generators pretty much spawn next to each other, because you're pretty much instantaneously dead, since even cadets can open it, and surely enough cadets should have enough tablets to put your ass down. And the last, the biggest weakness is you can't escape the nuke. If nuke goes off, you're dead. Tough shit. So those are his strengths and weaknesses. Pretty clear-cut strengths and weaknesses is what I like about him. But those weaknesses really rub people along the wrong way because basically all of his weaknesses are like team dependent. Like his weakness of not being able to attack people other than Tesla, that's because you got to rely on your teammates. You die if everybody else dies. That's because you got to keep your teammates alive by working with them. You also get killed if everybody turns in your generators. Guess who has to go turn it off? Your teammates. You can't turn that off yourself, and the nuke kills you. You gotta have to work with your teammates to make sure the nuke doesn't get activated and that you kill everyone before the nuke finally goes off if you have auto nuke on your server. So you see how all his strengths and all his weaknesses basically revolve around working with or against other people. That's why people don't like 079. He's not independent. He is by and by, through and through, a team player SCP. And nobody likes team player characters because that basically means he's really just a support. Yeah, 079 is basically a support. And who the fuck plays video games and goes, you know what class I want to play? Support. And that's why people hate him, because he's not only a support, he's a difficult support. There's no easy press W to heal or any of that bullshit. You gotta like micromanage your team and strategize, and that's just a lot to take in for most players. So I'll go ahead and I'll start with some tips and tricks for computer. These are some pretty basic ones, and I don't claim to be the best SCP player in the world. I probably should have put that disclaimer at the start of the video, but hey, if you made it this far, congrats. Here's a piece of information, vital information that I should have given to you right away, but whatever. You're here now, so let's keep going. 079, there are some tricks that you can do that can make your life easier, but beware, they can backfire. The first and most obvious trick that veteran players will know of, if you're a computer, you can go to light containment and you can immediately open the armory in the hopes that either scientists or D-boys will get the gun and start killing each other. The reason why I say this can backfire is because sometimes in certain servers, if the community is actually tight knit and they work together and they like each other, they won't kill each other. The scientists and D-boys will pick up the guns and grenades together, and then all you did was basically arm them to kill your SCPs. They're gonna damage them. I remember one game I opened the armory and I said, D-boy, go kill the other scientists. He picked up the grenades. You know what he did? He went to the gate, the entrance, and he just chucked the grenade there when he heard the elevator come down, and he killed 106. And we basically just lost that game right then and there because 106 dying that early in the game is terrible. And not only that, but I'm a computer and I'm supposed to work with him. So we're basically down 2 men realistically because all we had were dogs. That is a situation where you need to think about the people. Remember how earlier on in the video I said he's a team player against N4? That's what you got to think about. How are the people going to react depending on what you do? There are other games where I open 914 to let the D boys in because I'm hoping they'll fuck with the button. Nope. They're like, let's all escape together. Shit, now we got 20 D boys and 10 scientists running up on heavy together. Didn't really account for that. So those are some of the plays. Again, it's one of my favorite tips and tricks to do is to open Armory, but take stock of what server you on. If you know everybody there is an asshole and they're vindictive and they'll kill each other, great. If you know that they're actually going to work together to kill your SCPs, leave it locked. Okay, next tip slash trick that I think everyone should know about by now, considering I've already said it, but I'll reiterate the point. Look at how many classes are left of like each specific group. If you know that there are 10 D-boys left and Chaos just spawned, just tell the SCPs to go back to Heavy and Light and look for them. Don't waste your time trying to fight the Chaos. You're just going to lose a bunch of health and you're just going to end up losing. More importantly, it lets you know where someone might possibly be. If you start the game and everyone gets in really early into the light containment zone, and you ambush 914 immediately, and no one gets a chance to upgrade their card, and you see that there's maybe one scientist or one D-boy left, you know what that means? It means they're probably hiding somewhere in light containment. Tell your SCPs to scour around and find that last guy. And the reason that's an advantage is because once you get rid of all the scientists and D-boys, congrats. All you gotta worry about is the next MTF spawn. And realistically, since they can only come through Gate B and maybe Gate A if they're feeling adventurous, you can just ambush them at the gates, kill a couple of them, because MTF like to come in one by one, not by droves. I mean one by one, not as a group. And then as they slowly come down one by one and you pick them off, you can then just push up to surface and finish the last of them. Third trick or tip if you're playing computer slash 079, please keep checking 914 from time to time. You'd honestly be surprised how many people just immediately leave light containment and never come back. If you're tier 304, it really doesn't take much auxiliary power to just quickly snap back to the lower levels, look at 914, and then come back. You will regain that power very quickly, and that information is a lot more valuable than a couple of points in auxiliary power at that stage. A lot of D-boys, they like to hide and spawn, or not even hide. A lot of D-boys, when they get D-boy, they'll just sit in the D-boy spawn for a while because they're just going to go do something else, and they're just going to wait for the game to stabilize and for people to die and leave, and then they'll come back after 5 or 10 minutes and start upgrading cards, looking around for items. And those ones are the ones you want to be careful of, because when you get people like that who like wait and delay and then come out, they'll have an 05 and then they can really start to do damage, especially if you've got a 106 or, especially if you guys have gone, a bit too far to MTF, and they activate nuke. That's a real danger. So make sure as a computer you go back every now and then to check 914 to see if anyone's upgrading the card. Fourth tip for playing computer, if you know that somebody's running for a gate, just send the elevator up. If they're running for an elevators, you always can just press tab and you'll instantly see where any elevators are. They'll always be marked. Just immediately teleport and send the elevators up. It's going to waste a lot of their time, and it should be enough time for your SCPs to catch up if they're currently chasing them. Next tip for SCP-079, if 096 doesn't need to break doors, if Shy Guy doesn't need to break the doors, ask him not to. The main reason being is because you use doors to lock and trap people, and if he breaks them, there's nothing for you to lock or trap people with. A lot of 096 players don't realize this, and sometimes after they're done killing everyone, they'll just run back to like heavy and they'll smash every door in the way, and you'll be like, bruh, we need those. So just keep in mind, advise them, hey, don't go smashing all the doors unless you absolutely need to catch someone. My last and final tip for playing computer is to have fun. Look, let's be real here. No matter how hard you try, you're going to get some really annoying players on your team. Sometimes you get a player who just doesn't talk. If your SCP team has no mics, you're not going to be able to communicate with them. If they're just playing really annoying music, you're not going to be able to communicate with them. Sometimes they just won't listen to you. Like, you'll tell them, like, go left, there's a D-boy here, and they're just going to ignore you. Maybe they've muted you, maybe they're playing music instead, and they're not listening to the game. It's whatever. But remember that a lot of people, their frustration with 079 comes down to the fact that he's hard to play, and he's dependent on others. And if the people you're depending on are fucking spastics, then you're just going to have a horrible time. Like, you're going to be yelling at them, and like, hey, can you listen and go over here? And they're just going to ignore you. Brush it off. Just go, hey, at the end of the day, it's just a video game. I'm just here to have fun. Don't get too caught up into it. If you're not having fun as a computer, you can always just leave and rejoin. But more importantly, just remember to have fun. I know sometimes players just hate playing computer because you can't really kill anything on your own, but hey, it's just a game. Why you have to be mad? Okay, so that's just kind of a layout, my thoughts, and really a rundown of the whole kind of SCP computer in a nutshell. But what I want to do is I want to back up my claims, obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow you up with probably one of my better games. The reason why I like this game of computer that I did is because one, I had two dogs, which is a terrible combination. Dogs are not great. You'd much rather have an 096 or a Larry. And second of all, we had a computer who was playing. We had a doctor. I cannot speak. We had a doctor who was playing Doctor for the first time ever. That was his first game of Doctor. I don't think he actually managed to kill anyone by the end of the game. He actually might have only gotten one kill, but we still managed to win the match. And I think I really like this match because I exhibit a lot of the kind of tricks and tips that I've advised you of in this game. Like, relaying the information of what classes are left, sending elevators up, locking the doors, basically just leveling up really quickly and guiding your teammates. So go ahead, watch this match. If you see what I do, maybe try to emulate in their own gameplay. Obviously, if you are better, and again, I don't claim to be the best, I just feel like I really enjoy computers, so I wanted to try and give some helpful advice to people. And you see anything that can be improved on, by all means. Like I said, I'm not the best computer player in the world, but he is probably the SCP I've played the most. I don't know why. I swear there's some sort of like the game is rigged that you get a specific SCP a lot, because I've probably played SCP-079 like 100 times, and I've probably played Shy Guy, even pre-rework Shy Guy, like 4 times. So go ahead, watch the match, and I hope you enjoy it. Other than that, I hope this video was informative, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Peace. Look like I got a bunch of viewers. It's time to view bot. Just don't not, but not really.
B6 is Bukaki.
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 Just say
Bukaki.
Bukaki.
What if every swear
Who's in the middle?
our PP got big?
Fuck yeah.
Person in the middle is getting bukakied.
Fucking kangaroo.
Bukaki.
Chicken baby. Fucking kangaroos.
Rango.
Yo, have you guys seen Somalian motherfuckers? Those motherfuckers look like aliens.
I'm computer. Are you shitting me? I'll play the fucking computer again. Okay, dogs, let me just find your area real quick.
Yeah, let's be chilling. Do we have any other SCP?
I'm just trying to find where you are, to be honest. Where the fuck are you?
Oh, is that Plague?
Wait, okay,
Yeah.
Doctor,
Sick.
when you come out, go straight to the left. And then when you get to the T intersection, keep going straight. Am I near you, Doctor?
I need customer support, Aoni.
Where are you at right now?
We don't know where we are. Fucking server
in
room.
my containment.
You're at server room? Okay, so you spawned at 096. So once you come out of server room and you're at the T intersection. Yeah? Did you go past Nuke?
Yeah, hold on. On the second. No, we went to Shy Guy's room. Yeah, we did go past Column. We're coming back up.
So once you come to the T intersection,
Yeah.
okay, make sure you go through Nuke,
Yeah.
past Nuke, past the Tesla. Just keep going straight until you get to the dead end where it's a T intersection again. I'll open the door in advance for you. And then either left or right of you is elevators. There are elevators on both sides. So elevators spawned next to each other.
Oh, okay, sick.
You can both go down. I'll come down with you. Okay.
Fuck.
All right. I went into like containment now.
The gates because our fat man.
Okay. So exit B, you have the easiest run to 914. Literally just go straight until you get to a dead end, and then it's left.
plump.
Exit A. When you come out, don't go through the airlock. Go to the left of the airlock, and then just go straight, and you'll get straight to 914.
Alright, cheers.
So yeah, just go. Don't go through airlock. Go through the toilets or whatever the fuck it is, or the VG, and then once you get to the four-way path, it's left. Oh, I see all those scientists. You need me to lock the door on them. Yeah. Okay, go in. I'm gonna lock all the doors on them.
Dog, wait, follow us, follow me, dog,
Sorry, man, it's
dog,
not personal.
dog, follow me, dog.
Actually, yeah, it's probably better you go for these ones.
Hey, dog.
Okay, yep.
Follow us.
Alright, get this one. Just kill them, because I need the XP. I need the XP. Alright, and then...
You want a Scooby snack?
Come here, Morty.
Move.
Yeah, keep going.
End my suffering.
Yeah, just kill that guy. Alright, go straight through and just go to 914.
Man was.
Alright, wait for me to get a lot of power.
Hey!
I just need a lot of power right now. Nice. Okay, I got level 2. Get the scientists. Dude, it's so hard to play computer when you're lagging out the ass. Wait for my power to get up, and then... Alright, yeah. I'll just keep locking the door if they try to run past you. Actually, just stay in there for now. No one got past you while you were out there. Alright, there's a D-boy in the corner on your right.
Did they pass through 914?
Yep. There's a couple. Don't worry, no one's gotten out yet. I'll come in the room and check for you. Yep, scientists. Alright, that should be the last of them, unless there's someone hiding inside those little, like, rooms, doors, but if not, then that's everyone in 914. Check the other side. Anyone in there?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Alright, it's empty.
We're good to go.
Fuck, killed a couple.
We killed all the scientists, and there's 3 D-boys left, so we're pretty sweet.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
That was
pretty smooth.
We got a lot. I'm gonna do a quick sweep. Are you just going straight, or are you going back to your elevator?
I'm gonna stay in light for a bit more. Yep, see guards.
Where you at? Sorry, I'm coming over to help. I'll send the elevator back up.
No, I can get him.
Yeah, I just locked it on one time. I was good to get the elevator.
Oh, smooth.
That was the last guard too. Oh no, one more guard left.
Oh, they were all gone for guards as well.
We got one D-boy left. Oh, there's a D-boy in his spawn. Come back, dog. Dog that just went past the T intersection. Yeah, in the D-boy block.
Feeling?
Yeah. I locked the door.
That's Crystal.
All the way at the end. All the way at the end, standing right in front of the door. All the way at the end, like at the very end where the artwork is, just up against the wall. Oh, she's trying to run now. Yeah, you got her. Don't worry, I locked the door already. She's dead either way.
The last D-boy fucking died.
Oh, am I?
Yes.
Fuck her up. She's dead either way. I locked the door. Nice. Alright. 2 D-boys left. I wonder if there's any... Wait, just before you go, I'm gonna take a quick look in these doors. I can't see anyone, but that's just because...
How's the doctor going?
I forgot we had a doctor, honestly. It's just been me and you, dog.
I have seen no one.
Saw you briefly.
This has been so sad.
See the doctor.
Alright, there's 2 D-boys and 1 scientist left.
Rubber band.
I might check 914 again, just to see if someone went back to it. But we got 1 guard, yeah, that's all we got. 1 guard, 2 D-boys left to find.
1 scientist?
Also, thank you for the follow,
well?
Strax. I'm sorry I didn't acknowledge your follow. Oh wait, come back to Lycatam. The 2 D-boys must have been hiding somewhere, but they've gone back to 914.
Okay, I'm
Is-
in back.
A elevator.
Oh, great.
Okay, yeah, if we kill these 2D boys, then we only have to worry about the guards after. So yeah, you guys on your way to light? Whoa!
Alright.
Just be advised, I made DC actually.
Is that right?
No.
My fucking internet's
Oh,
acting up
please
again.
don't.
Yeah, I'm going. Oh yeah, sweet doctor. Go straight ahead through the airlock.
Where are they?
Go straight ahead, all the way straight from the exit B. So just keep going straight, even through the airlock. And then once you get to the 4-way intersection, take a right.
914's empty.
Yeah, they left 914. They went. They're passing peanut room. And
Okay.
door's locked.
Computer, please.
All right, there's a. Do you see the
Fuck,
D
where's
boy?
that?
Please no.
Just trying to figure out where I'm going.
Oh god,
Oh,
he
yeah.
actually.
Oh, that's Plague. You're doing a good job, Ernie. You're doing computer well.
Did you get that dog? I mean, D boy. There's still one more. Oh yeah, I found the
Yeah.
last one.
Oh, 12.
Light containment zone overall decontamination.
As well. Oh,
All right, that's all of them.
Got him.
That's everyone. It's
Get
just
him.
MTF left to fight now.
You can res him.
Alright, we're gonna have to play this really well.
Okay, so we got all the
well,
scientists and D-boys, so we don't have to worry about anyone escaping. But now we're gonna deal with all these MTF. I want to tell you right now, I just went all the way
Fuck
to.
out of light then.
I just went all the way to surface, and like half of them is still staying on surface. So yeah, it's gonna be an annoying one.
Alright.
You can res
Plague,
anyone that dies.
Oh shit! Yeah, they're starting to attack me in the heavy as well. There's 049 at your room. They've turned on one of my generators. So once you come out of the elevator,
Plague, you one-shot people and you can turn them into zombies, so...
I'm aware.
yeah, go straight
Okay.
through, all the way through, to the very dead end. Just because the generator there is on. They're starting to run around to turn on my shit.
For sure, giving you one generator is good.
I'm already max level. I don't need any more XP. Oh,
I'm lagging like a crazy boy.
PC, please.
all right. Yeah, I locked him in there. He's fucked. He's in the corner.
Oh,
He's
sorry,
trying to
this
jump
one's at
around,
the,
but it doesn't
Plague.
matter.
Please, Calder.
Yep, nice.
Nice.
All right, go straight, and then on the
Sounds
right,
good.
on the right, dog, the generator's on, and then there might be some MTFs around. Nice.
Fuck, where's the cancel button? Oh, there it is. I can't see very well.
There's 12 MTF, so it looks like 4 people just killed themselves.
Well, we're doing pretty well.
Oh, did anyone go into?
Someone
Plague,
was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
shot.
keep
Fuck,
check,
where'd it go?
please. I'm gonna go kill that MTF.
Which MTF are you chasing?
I don't know, one of them.
I'm following you around, just trying to see if they. Wait, they actually got one of my generators on. What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
the
fine.
computer is extremely bugged at the moment.
That's weird, because none of my generators were on. Oh wait, dog, go back. They turned up. Wait, it's not highlighting if they've turned on generators for me anymore.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
computer's
Oh, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, okay. I can't tell now if my generators are on or not, so you'll just have to guess if you
Yeah,
run
we'll
past
just...
them.
Yeah.
Was that one on as well? Gee, that's kind of bullshit. Whatever.
They have micro.
I'm going up to check
Keep
surface.
that in mind.
There's surprisingly nobody on surface, so they actually all went in.
Wow. That's
Oh god,
impressive
they're in the
for full
entrance.
MTF
They're still.
team.
I have no idea if I'm close to dying or not because I don't get told if my generators are being turned on. But it just
It
tells
said
me if it's
one
active.
generator, 1 out of 5, I believe. So you're good.
Fuck these guys, but it doesn't tell. Oh, they turned it back on at doctors.
At doctor's room. Okay.
Yeah. That one's probably gonna be too late to
Uh,
turn off.
I think I'm a bit too far away to deal with that one.
Let me
sorry.
check that cough. Check that cough.
Are you guys near intercom?
No.
I
still
could've got that guy.
heavy.
How is there 11 MTF but I haven't seen a single one? Oh, if you guys are near a micro HD, someone turned on my micro HD generator.
Oh, okay. I just passed micro. I'll go do one.
Dude, it's really annoying. I like literally I see it on. I'm like, oh, cool. It would have been nice to know, but unfortunately, it's not telling me if generators are on or not.
Holy shit! He
Who's-
just lagged.
Where you getting shot at? That's the second one.
Good evening, I just committed war crimes.
Maybe.
The fact that it doesn't tell me this, that I'm getting generators turned on, is
Do
kind
you
of
feel like
annoying.
getting anyone up?
Hey,
Hello.
computer, I need to be let out of 096's cell. Thank you very much.
Yeah, right on you.
Oh, he's dead.
Is that generator at Micro still on?
Oh yeah, it's already
Do I gotta
activated.
deal with that?
Ooh,
Oh, there it is.
I'm dying.
Oh, fuck,
It keeps
this is tough.
because it doesn't tell you if they've turned it on.
Don't know where I'm going, trust me.
Fall left.
Oh god.
Okay,
And I don't know where they are, so I can't even like check
no,
to see
if
if they
we can, like, problem entrance, we can win.
I can't see any of them. Are they in light containment? No one's in light containment at least.
Like, containment just got locked down.
Oh.
Alright, I got another one.
Oh, I'm at the Tesla. Oh shit. I saw you get pinged by that grenade.
Got it.
Dead.
One left. There's one fucker left.
Yeah, one MTF
Oh,
left.
I see him.
I found him!
Where's he?
I found him!
Get him!
He's going through our room.
Get it.
4 out of 5
Where's he at?
generators activated.
Sorry, where's he at, guys?
We don't know. He's near entrance zone.
Yeah.
Oh, he would
Somewhere
get
in
fucked up.
entrance
He
zone.
can't go out because it's chaos spawn.
Did they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's in the room. He's there. He's there. I locked the lights. Yep, there you got him. Woo! That's a fucking roll.
Dr.